Welcome, David, to 5 Minutes With. This is part of the Investment International series of interviews with CEOs. So welcome to this interview. You're one part of the world, I'm the other. I'm in the Lake District. Where are you?
Thank you, Gary. It's great to join you. I am in Dorado, Puerto Rico today.
Fantastic. Tell us who you are, what's your job title, and what's your role at Vumi?
Sure. David Rendall. I'm the CEO and founder for Vumi. I have been married about 17 years. Got to get that right. My wife's listening, and have 2 teenage children. I grew up in the international and domestic healthcare, TPA, managed care space. So it's kind of been ingrained in me from a very young age.
Now, this wasn't, we've got some questions that we agreed beforehand, but I'm going to ask you a quick question. As founder of Vumi, first off, why the name? Number one, what does it stand for?
Sure.
That's hopefully an easy answer. And what made you want to found this company?
Yeah, great question, Gary. So Vumi stands for VIP Universal Medical Insurance. And so basically, if you think of what our mission is giving a VIP experience, treating all of our members and agents like VIPs, and providing medical insurance kind of universally wherever people are located. They have the opportunity to get coverage and be covered.
See, this is incredibly important, isn't it? For especially a place like Latin America, people do travel around a lot, and it can be different variations of what healthcare is out there. How do you sort of ensure that they're going to get the best treatment there, wherever they go?
Yeah, so it's not just for travelers. Different countries have different healthcare systems, as you know. And so some countries, the standard healthcare systems provided by the government work great. And in some, they don't work quite as well. So people have to enter the private system. And even with that, there could be limitations on coverage or treatments. So what we planned and what we aim to do is provide our insureds with the coverage when they're at home, and also the opportunity to travel for care that might not be available to them. And so we do that through, education, through continuing learning on the part of our doctors and our managed care team, and try to provide that support, that information through our agent distribution and to our insureds as well.
Good answer. The international, private medical insurance world, there's a number of providers out there, and you're in Latin America at the moment. This is a company that's founded out of the US, which is like the hotbed for PMI. What is it that makes Vumi stand out in the marketplace from the other competitors?
Yeah, another great question. So if you look at the US in terms of a kind of a location, most of the directed medical, so most of the people that are traveling for treatment out of Latin America are going to the US for that care, because it's got the most, in the Western Hemisphere, it's got the most advanced technologically procedures and innovation and medications. So I would say probably about 30% of our insureds that are looking for treatment come to the US, and about half of our costs happen in the US. And so since the mid 1980s, company started by my father, we were managing healthcare costs and claims in the US. So it's kind of like a foundational bedrock for us, is understanding, how to navigate the system in the US and control costs. Also growing up in West Texas, actually on the border in El Paso with a city called Juarez, Mexico, we were familiar with these IPMI plans going back to the 1980s. And we had broker friends that were selling these products, and we saw how companies would come in the market and then leave the market, depending on, what their board of governance wanted to do or future plans. So we didn't see really long-term commitments from too many players, and we thought that we could leverage our background and our experience with that international market and U.S. cost controls to give a better long-term solution.
That's another good answer. Fantastic. Tell us about these international regional hotspots that you're big in, and where,
Sure.
Looking at 2025 and beyond, where are you trying to expand across?
Yeah, so we're definitely proud to be the leader of IPMI in Latin America, supported by a really strong, sophisticated network of agents. But we also continue to have strong results in Canada, Asia, and Africa. And really the most exciting news from an expansion perspective is Europe. We've secured our license in Malta, which will allow us to operate across the EU, providing IPMI to individuals and SMEs.
Fantastic. So, look, you've only missed off the Middle East. What's wrong with the Middle East as well? Look at Dubai. That's a big area.
There's a lot of good competition in the Middle East. And so we try to focus our area and our targets where we feel like we can add value. And so if you look at the Middle East, there's a lot of very large players there. It's very mature. And there's different dynamics. So I wouldn't necessarily consider, Dubai as a developing market, an emerging market. It's very first world. And you might say, well, doesn't the same thing kind of go with Europe? But in Europe, it's such a large market that there's opportunities for us to, kind of excel where Vumi has a kind of a stronger offering, if you will, on the high touch foreign national that likes to travel.
Sao Paulo, you guys are speaking at our II LATAM Forum event for the first time. You kind of explained it, why LATAM's a key market for you, but what do you talk about at these events? What's the key message? What's the why is it a good idea to support events and meet your brokers face to face?
Yeah, no, for sure. So obviously, LATAM is a key market for Vumi, and the more exposure and more interaction that we can have, the better. We want to be as close to every market that we're in as possible. Latin America is where our story began. So it's not just a market. We look at it as central to our identity. And when you think about it, the clientele in LATAM expects a very high personal touch and service. So we believe that if we can continually meet those high expectations in LATAM, then we'll make meaningful impact around the world where people appreciate, not just being a number, but being a VIP.
Fantastic. I do like that with the VIP. That's what the V stands for, everybody. VIP.
Yeah.
I like it. So how does Vumi ultimately support the international advisor and broker community? And you kind of alluded to it earlier about, education's key, but what does that mean? How do you support the brokers?
For sure. Yeah, for sure. So definitely we're always looking for opportunities to collaborate, educate, share ideas. So it's not just about keeping them informed and empowered on our products and on the market, but it's also kind of that back and forth collaboration on, what are the needs? They're closer to the client most of the time than we are. So it's important to be kind of open and be ahead. But we have programs like the Vumi Lab, which is a digital training platform that's available 24/7. We have Vumi Sessions, which are regular scheduled virtual trainings, which is one of the benefits from COVID. We figured we could touch more more people through Teams and Zoom meetings. We also do a lot of in-person trainings across key hubs, such as our Medellin and Miami Pro Series. And then, of course, we have career path incentives, discounts on health policies, and we kind of top it all off with our annual convention, which is, a well-deserved incentive trip that these agents earn. But it's also an invaluable opportunity for networking with peers and our executive leadership. So on our last convention, I think we had close to 500 people on the convention, which was amazing. An amazing time to learn and to share.
You guys are number one in the region, but what do you want to achieve in 2026?
Yeah, no, I mean, we expect 26 to be another banner year for us. Continued double-digit growth in the Americas, Asia, and Africa. Our launch of Vumi Europe will be in full stride in 26. So I believe that expansion will really strengthen our ability to serve clients, globally. So very, very excited about that. We already have our teams in place to take advantage of those opportunities. We also developed in 25 a platform, a product, if you will, called My VIP Care, which will continue to evolve in 26 with different market needs. And what it does is it's kind of a one-of-a-kind modular product designed to provide flexibility and personalization, because most of these healthcare products are off the shelf, very standard. And this one really lets the agent and the member client really get in there and pick the listing of benefits that make the most sense to them in terms of budget, in terms of needs, and where their concerns are. And then obviously we're going to continue to be focused on investing in technology and systems, trying to stay ahead in the incorporation of AI and analytics. We have to continue to invest in the infrastructure as we grow. And then finally, and probably equally, or if not more important, is investing in our team members, with career advancement, training opportunities, some of the latest in human capital initiatives. So it's very, very important to me that we invest in our team members, because I feel like if they know they're well taken care of, then our clients will be well taken care of.